We are here at the Color Girls Museum in the heart of Germantown, Philadelphia. This museum celebrates the experiences and stories of Black and brown girls of the African diaspora. There isn't a better place to tell the story of Marielle Franco, an Afro-Brazilian politician and activist who was brutally murdered about a year ago in Brazil.
Marielle Franco was a Black, queer, feminist activist and politician from the Mare favela in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. She was a fierce champion for Black women, spoke out boldly against racism and economic exploitation, and was a staunch critic of police brutality and state-sanctioned violence.
This is the beginning of the documentary I, Black Woman Resist, about the legacy of Marielle Franco, directed by Dr. Sharelle Barber and Amber Delgado. We talked with Dr. Barber about which led her to make this production. I know you're researching about epidemiology, correct? Yeah. Can you tell a little bit about what you do?
Yeah. So I'm a social epidemiologist by training who study the role of structural racism and health inequalities. I like to think about the structures, right, that kind of don't permit certain communities from engaging and being healthy and living healthy lives, right? And also thinking about the structural racism that creates those environments, right? So that's part of the work that I do. Like I said, initially that work had been conducted mostly in Jackson, Mississippi, and then a couple of years ago began to kind of extend that lens of thinking about structural racism, particularly residential segregation. What does that look like in Brazil? I had gone to Brazil in 2005 when I was an undergraduate student. I remember being so shocked. They don't tell you, like, there's, that the Brazilian population is mostly Black, right?
Correct.
And so thinking, like, well, are there parallels between these kind of two contexts? Can we think about the ways in which structural racism operates in Brazil, and then how that then again manifests as different health outcomes?
Dr. Barber attended the event that became Marielle's last public appearance before her murder.
The opportunity to meet Marielle at this event called Young Black Women Moving Power Structures in Rio. The women reacted to her coming in. It was like the room lit up, right? After leaving that event, it was empowering. Two, it was inspiring to see so many Black women committed to anti-racism work in Brazil locally. Being the only Black woman from the US in that room, I wanted to be able to have the opportunity to speak to the power that had been before, and also the pain that was afterwards, but then again, the power that I saw in the Black women the next day who were rallying, who were protesting, who really were saying they were going to be committed to picking up Marielle's legacy and keeping it alive. And I was like, no, we have to talk about this Black woman. We have to, be, and especially as Black women, this is someone we need to honor. This is someone we need to remember and really show what she was standing for, again, against racism, against the militarization of the favelas, pushing for policies that would be beneficial to Blacks, really speaking out boldly against police brutality, all those things she was standing for, speaking for. Kenneth Campbell, who's one of the co-founders of the Free Media Collective, heard the story and he said, we want to help you tell the story. They linked me with a young woman by the name of Amber Delgado, who's also a Black Latino woman here in the US. And y'all are gonna co-produce and co-direct this story. Slowly, we just began to pull together a really powerful team of young Black women who just wanted to help tell the story. So we got connected to some really amazing scholars. So Caldwell, who's at UNC Chapel Hill, Zakiya Carr Johnson, who used to work for the State Department. We took it to Capitol Hill. So we screened on the Hill during the month of March. So it's been really powerful. So we started kind of doing some fall screenings. And then the month of March, we did what was called the Marielle Rising Tour, where we took it, we were in New York, we were in Washington, D.C., we were here in Philadelphia. The last one will be in North Carolina with an organization called Repairers of the Breach. We're just taking it. What we're trying to do with this is shed light, raise awareness, consciousness, and really talk about what it means to be in solidarity in this time.
In Philadelphia, Vashti DuBois, founder of the Color Girls Museum, supported the screening of the documentary. She explains why she considers this an important matter.
And the Color Girls Museum recognizes that the local is global and the global is local. It's really important that we understand that. It's really important that we see the connection between how we're being impacted no matter where we are in the world if we are women of the African diaspora.
Why did you think it's important to talk about her activism and her story?
Well, you know, women of the African diaspora have always been, since we have been here, we have been on the forefront of activism. This is not something that we're often credited with, but whether we're integrating schools or whether we're taking to the streets in the favelas of Brazil, we are the ones, we are the mothers of movements, and we are the ones who are sounding the alarm. We've always been. If we are able to lift up the life of Marielle here in the U.S., while her life is being lifted up by our sisters in Brazil, we're able to support each other in this movement for liberation. And if we don't do that, then her death becomes another place where we learn to live in fear.